it was definitely warm. He had the air conditioner going in the garage. He would switch it on when we weren't recording and then switch it off when we would record. And he had just gotten his brand new 16-track 1-inch reel-to-reel machine. Before that, he had this crazy cassette. It wasn't really a cassette. It was its own kind of cassette that sat in this big board. And when we transferred near my bar to in order for all the tracks to work, we had to set it on top of 2 cinder blocks, and then 2 guys had to stand on the corners to make the tracks line up with the head. It was ridiculous. So I was so glad when he got that 16-track.
Welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party, your weekly musical happy hour where musicians pick an album from their back catalog and tell the stories behind their favorite tracks in front of a live online audience.
This week, we talk with veteran country guitarist Dan Gaarder about Trailer Trash's 2002 Christmas album, All Lit Up. He joins us with a tin of Danish butter cookies, talks about the inspiration behind these festive holiday originals, and shares some hilarious stories about the band recording in a garage in the heat of summer. So pour some eggnog, break out the fruitcake, and cozy up by the Yule log as we listen to music together here on the Back Catalog Listening Party, where it's always Friday and old albums never sounded better.
Happy Friday!
Welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party. My name is Mother Banjo, one of your hosts.
My name is Anthony Ihrig, the other host.
And today we have joining us Dan Elfis Gaarder from the band Trailer Trash. Yeah.
Oh, we're so excited.
And Dan, where are you joining us from today? Are you joining us from your home?
I'm in the salon of my home.
And that's in Eagan?
I'm out in Eagan, yeah.
Excellent. Eagan, Minnesota. Well, we have folks joining from all over the place today for this Back Catalog Listening Party. We have Alan joining us, I believe, down from Texas. Happy Friday, everybody. It feels like hot toddy time.
You got it.
It is. 'Tis the season. And looks like Christopher's joining us. Looking forward to a trashy show with some beeraholic beverages from Savage, Minnesota. And then we have Alinda joining us from New Haven, Connecticut. So this is great. So glad to have Dan on the show. I'm a huge fan, exclamation point. So
that's so nice to hear.
Yeah, likewise.
And Connie joining us as well. Hello to all of you, and wherever you are tuned in from, thanks for joining this holiday party. Let us know where you are tuned in from, if you're enjoying a beverage or a snack. And it looks like we also got your man in Minneapolis here. Looking forward to the fine conversation right now and to the big reindeer games come Saturday night. So
welcome, Joe.
Yeah.
And welcome, Jocelyn, who's drinking rum and kombucha. Don't judge. She says, Jocelyn, no judgment here.
No judgment-free zone here. And
that's right.
Tony, are you enjoying any kind of special beverage on this holiday show?
Yeah, I'm trying something new for me anyways. This is it's the Trail Pass. It's an NA IPA from Sierra Nevada. It's a nice little hoppy NA, and I'm enjoying it in my Back Catalog Listening Party pint glass.
All right. And Dan, are you enjoying any kind of beverage?
Yeah. I have my Christmas cup of milk.
Nice.
To go with my royal
Danish butter cookies. Nice.
Yeah.
Love that. That definitely speaks Christmas time to me. Growing up, we always had a lot of those.
And percussion too. These are not the Nam Brain. These are Christmas gems.
Ooh. Well, those who are listening to the audio version of this, Dan was shaking one of those plastic candy canes full of, what was it?
Christmas gems.
Chocolate gems. All right. We're getting in the spirit, folks.
And I did not concoct myself any kind of fancy holiday cocktail, but I got the finest wine from the box in my kitchen. So,
well, it's a nice contrast to your green scarf. It's like red and green.
It looks kind of electric right now.
Yeah. Well, cheers, Ellen. Cheers, Dan. Cheers, everybody out there. Happy holidays to everybody. When this goes live, it's going to be right in the heart of a holiday season, and I'm getting festive just thinking about listening to this record.
Oh, yeah. We are so excited to have Dan Gaarder joining us. Dan spent many years playing with the band Trailer Trash, and we're going to revisit their 2002 album, All Lit Up, which has some great originals written by Dan and one by Nate as well. But we are very excited to do that. But for those of you who maybe aren't from the Minnesota area or aren't familiar, although your fame has traveled all the way to New Haven, Connecticut, Dan. But you have played with so many bands over the years, Trailer Trash just being one of many. Maybe you can give a brief origin story of where you grew up, how you fell into making music, and how you joined Trailer Trash.
Absolutely. Yeah, I grew up in South Minneapolis. One of the songs we'll be listening today is about Christmas in my old neighborhood, Powderhorn Park neighborhood. Moved to Anoka, met some guys, started playing in bands, and enjoyed that. We were terrible, but it was so much fun, and it was just great. Then I started playing country bands after high school, VFWs and things like that, and then fell into the in-town crowd, and ended up playing with some good bands. A band called the Tanglewoods in the mid '80s. What's the deal? And then eventually, for about a year, the Jayhawks, which was really fun and really eye-opening to the possibilities. And then Trailer Trash came along and did 20 years of playing with them. And then came the Rowe Family Singers, and I spent 16 with them. And also about 17 years ago, a lady came up to me and said hi, and I said, I think we would sound good singing together. And that was Mother Banjo, and we've been playing together 16, 17 years now.
I can't believe it's been that long, but yeah, that sounds about right. So
Yeah.
the Mother Banjo band wouldn't exist without Dan. He was the first person who was like kind of volunteered himself to sing and play with me, and it's been such a treat. And I always feel lucky when I get to have Dan play with me, and of course any number of other bands that you guest in and have been a part of over the years, and I'm sure some of those will come up.
Yeah, well, I just want to point out too, Dan, you're kind of a celebrity here at the back catalog because you were featured. Your playing was featured on the very first episode of this program 5.5 years ago, where we played some tracks off of Mother Banjo's record. And then the very next episode, our second episode, was the Rowe Family Singers. You were featured again. And a couple months later, we had Trailer Trash on. And anyway, so you whether you know it or not, your reputation precedes you.
I will never never ever complain about other guitar players hogging gigs again. Now I'm kind of embarrassed.
Well, we are so excited to revisit this record. And we had a couple, Trailer Trash has a lot of great holiday records. We featured one a few years ago with Nate when he joined us. But this album came out in 2002, All Lit Up. And tell us a little bit about where this fits in the discography or where you were with the band then.
This was an interesting time for the band because in the first few years of the band, we had Raz Russell on fiddle, Mike Russell, and he's a powerhouse and very creative, very organic musician, and he brought a lot of great Christmas tunes in that are on the first record, Hell It's Xmas, I'm sorry. And so we had all of his songs, and then when we went to cut this, he had left. He had problems with the van, really having a hard time hearing at Lee's. It was getting louder on stage, and he was trying to play fiddle, and it just was not working for him. So we lost Raz for this record, and Raz, who's also played with the Harmony Creek, Mark Olson and Victoria Williams.
Yeah,
the Harmony Ridge Creek Dippers, and also various Jayhawks, and also the Cactus Blossoms for their long stand at the Turf Club. So Raz is nobody to be messed with. So he was a big loss for the band. So we had to kind of get to writing some songs ourselves because he brought 3 original songs himself into the first record. And, you have to have some original songs. Otherwise, it's just another record. So we set to work on it, and I got lucky. Came up with 3 I'm pretty happy with, and we of course kept rearranging songs during that period. But yeah, this would have been 2002, right after kind of the heyday of Lee's. we had played every Wednesday night at Lee's for years up till about 2001, I believe. And so we were kind of transitioning to a different kind of band at that point. But the Christmas shows were starting to, at that point, take on a life of their own, be a really big thing. And we were getting huge draws for the string of Christmas shows. So it for a month a year, it would take over our personality completely.
Well, I see that your screen says Dan Elfis Gaarder. So
that was my nickname this weekend. I played 2 nights in Silver Bay with Trailer Trash on bass because Steve Price, the fantastic in-demand Steve Price, was playing with the Suburbs, and you can't say no to the Suburbs. And Randy Broughton was playing with the Gear Daddies. So 2 of us guys got lucky enough to sit in, and we just had a magnificent time just hanging out, and it was beautiful. And Trailer Trash puts on one heck of a show. The guy who stepped into my shoes, Randy, he was a hero when I was younger. He was one of the hot players who used to come into the music store that I hung out at. And so to get to play a weekend with him and the rest of the gang was just big thrill, big fun. We couldn't have been better.
Nice. Awesome. Hey, before we get any farther, for folks that aren't from Minnesota or the Twin Cities, I think it's worth acknowledging Lee's Liquor Lounge. Dan, why don't you tell the folks, you mentioned that Trailer Trash was, an institution at an institution, Lee's Liquor Lounge. Can you tell folks about this? Because we recently lost the venue, and I want to make sure that its memory lives on. Can you tell us a little bit about that venue and what it meant to you and the band and the genre?
Well, it was home for so many years in a number of bands. When Trailer Trash started out, that was about 94, I believe, because we started at the 24 bar in 93, and we got fired for asking for, I think, $25 per guy per night. So they fired us. But then our friend Mary Johnson said, come over and play my bar, which was Lee's. And Mary's an old friend from the punk rock scene around town. And we started playing there, got to know Louis, the owner who passed away this past February, sadly. Just a wonderful, unbelievable guy, tons of energy. But he also had the biggest heart, and he could have fired us so many times. And my other band, the 2 Tickets to Paradise that used to play there, he could have fired us 1,000 times for the infractions we committed, but he didn't. And he had a big heart, and he loved the kids coming into the bar. It was new life for him because it was just kind of considered a dive bar, even though it was the cleanest, most beautiful dive bar in town. No tap beer. That was a no-no. And no coffee on the bar. Coffee? That was Louis. That was classic Louis Syrian. But Louis just made it easy for us, booked us every week, every Wednesday night. And then when things, slowed down a little bit, we just went to first Fridays or one Friday a month, I think. Yeah, one Friday a month. And then our Christmas shows. And the Christmas shows at that point kind of started overtaking everything.
Yeah. Right on. Well, thanks. I just know that when it first got on my radar, it was like the place if a national touring act was playing in the, kind of alt country, honky tonk, those kinds of
absolutely
rockabilly genres. It was known throughout the country as one of those spots you play. It's kind of underground, but definitely a place in history here in Minneapolis.
Oh, yeah, like a Cat's Cradle or something, or any number of bars like that. But thanks to Dale Watson for his song Lee's Liquor Bar, we got catapulted, into the stratosphere. It was an amazing bar. It probably never happened that way again. You don't get people like Louis every day. He was a gem, and we all still miss him very much.
Yeah. Well, we're going to perk ourselves up and cheer ourselves up with some holiday music.
That's right. We're going to light ourselves up.
Oh, my gosh. And so this first track that you picked to feature is Lonely Old Tree, which is one of my favorites. And I've heard you perform it a lot. What can you tell us about this song?
Oh, I think I wrote it just because, it reminds me of sitting on a bench in Powderhorn Park on a snowy day when I was a kid. I used to love just sitting in the park and just watching the snow if it was falling. But it also reminded me of coming home from Lee's late at night. I would be so hyped up after the gig that I would have to pull off I'd drive around Lake Harriet usually on my way home. And I would just stop the car and listen to the lake and just the twinkling lights and and just kind of being by myself in the car and winding down. But it had such a vibe and the peace and quiet of the city, but also, you have to have a little heartbreak in there. So
It's
just
a lonely old tree.
Yeah, it's just about some poor unfortunate soul who's just he hasn't got his other hat, but he has got his bottle of Christmas cheer. So it's purely a work of fiction, but it's the imagery is real. So
All right. Well, we're going to kick off our special holiday edition of the back catalog listening party with Trailer Trash, Lonely Old Tree.
Lonely old tree, all lit up in the park, lit up and lonely like me. We used to sit beneath you after dark last summer when she loved me. Lonely old tree, I'm in love with your branches. You've seen all my May, December romances. Lonely old tree, all lit up on Christmas Eve. Summer has left you like summer love left me. She ain't here, but I've got some Christmas cheer and your bright company. Lonely old tree, now the snowflakes are falling. You shine so brightly while I sit here bawling. Lonely old tree, all lit up on Christmas. Lonely old tree, all lit up on Christmas. Lonely old tree, all lit up on Christmas.
Oh, yes. Trailer Trash with Lonely Old Tree, written by Dan Gaarder, who's joining us today on the back catalog listening party, revisiting this 2002 release as part of our holiday edition of the show. Folks joining in the comments, such fun times and memories. And man, sounds so good. And, the instrumentation, like the arrangement sounds so great with the accordion and then the saloon style piano coming in there.
It's amazing how John could switch from the piano to the accordion so fast, isn't it? The magic of recording studios.
Yeah. So tell us who's featured in this version of the band and on this track.
Oh, okay. This was pretty much classic Trailer Trash. This was Andy Olson on bass. This was Nate Dungan, obviously a leader, and he took the solo on that song. John Duncan, who was the keyboard player, who played both the piano and the accordion solos. Randy Tyrone Broughton, who was the steel player, and Keely Lane on the drums. And we recorded that at Rich Mattson's second Flower Pot Studios. He had the first one on, I think, Washington or Adams in Northeast, and then he built a new one in a garage up by Grumpy's, and that's the studio we recorded this one at.
Rich Mattson, another frequent flyer, mentioned a lot here on the show.
Great.
He now owns Sparta Sound up in northern Minnesota, but again, this was one of his earlier studios here in the Twin Cities.
And it was a fun place to record. It was really neat.
And I always have to ask for holiday records. How hot was it outside when you recorded the album?
Yeah, it was pretty warm. I think we were working on it during the summer. And yeah, it was because that's it was during a downtime. I don't remember exactly when, but it was definitely warm. He had the air conditioner going in the garage. He would switch it on when we weren't recording and then switch it off when we would record. And he had just gotten his brand new 16 track 1-inch reel to reel machine. Before that, he had this crazy cassette. It wasn't really a cassette. It was its own kind of cassette that sat in this big board. Unlike like the little Fostex Tascam machines. And when we transferred near my bar to in order for all the tracks to work, we had to set it on top of 2 cinder blocks, and then 2 guys had to stand on the corners to make the tracks line up with the head. It was ridiculous. So I was so glad when he got that 16 track.
Wow.
Very,
wow.
very
Going to
good.
the modern technology. Well, I bring that up because, a lot of people don't think about the fact that most holiday records are recorded in the summer,
It's true.
or some off time. And it's always, it never ceases to be a kind of a point of interest for folks.
Yeah. And, obviously during the month of December, you're playing these songs like all the time, playing a lot of holiday shows, but, they get kind of shelved for the spring and summer. So it is interesting to me that more folks, and I always say this about myself, and I haven't done it either, but like, wouldn't it be great to record a holiday album right after the holidays? Because you're like, all the songs are fresh and,
We'd probably play them 100 miles an hour because those Christmas shows are really high energy. And we made that mistake when we recorded live at Lee's. Everything, it's like, what were we doing? What were we on? Because everything is 100 miles an hour. But that's just the way the bar was back then. That's just the way we played. And so it's probably good that we let it mellow a little bit before we record it.
Age like a fine fruitcake. Yes.
I know that when we cut Nutcrackers, I went out to New York in beginning of November, and I had just finished almost all the mixes. Nate had to do the last mix on Nutcrackers. So that one we really got late in the season on, and we're lucky to have that one out by Christmas.
Yeah. Well, and so you bring up an interesting point. We've already mentioned at least 3 or 4 Trailer Trash holiday albums. How many, do you know how many there are in total?
There's 4. There's
4. Okay.
There's Hell It's Xmas, the first one, the one we got sued by the Tree Air Freshener Company. They didn't sue us. They sent a letter, and then we sent them some CDs and apologized profusely, and they were kind enough to let us keep using the Christmas tree logo. We apparently, I think Chuck Hermes did the artwork on this. He mocked up the artwork and came up with the great the bulb in the middle of the tree thing, and it all went from there. But they were good sports about it, and I'm really thankful about that because it was kind of a neat thing to have on your records. And I think they might still be using that in some of their marketing these days.
All
but
right.
What was the question?
Holiday album. So we got 2 in there.
Yeah, it's Hell It's Xmas, and then All Lit Up, Hell It's Xmas Volume 2. Third one was Nutcrackers, which was with our new bass player Dave Wynn, who brought some great songs to the band. And then the fourth one is the one that they put out after I left the band, and I've been listening to it to learn the songs for this last weekend. And oh man, it's a great record. It's a really good Christmas record, and that was recorded at Dave Russ's studio, and it sounds rocking. It's just terrific. I was blown away by how good that record is.
And we'll make sure to share in the show notes if you go to backcataloglisteningparty.com. There'll be a link to Trailer Trash's website where you can pick up these records, but also to the our other Trailer Trash episode featuring Nate from the band talking about that holiday record you're talking about. So
Crazy for Christmas.
Yes, Crazy for Christmas. So we'll make sure. So you might want to check that out if you want to go down the Trailer Trash rabbit hole.
Hey there, would you like to be part of the live show? Well, become a member of the Back Catalog Listening Party Patreon, and you'll get a backstage pass to weekly online tapings where you can ask the artist questions and participate in the live chat with a fun community of like-minded music nerds. You'll also get a first look at upcoming guests and receive invitations to special live streams and private after parties. So join the party today at patreon.com/Back Catalog Listening Party.
But we got to get more music.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Here's one that Nate wrote.
Okay. So yeah, this is a good time to bring this up. Mistletoe. Anything you want to say about it before we take a listen, Dan?
It's just it is the heart song of the record. It is, that time, you're fried from all the shopping, and you haven't had time to like be with your significant other, and you're just kind of worn out, and it's like, oh, I feel like I just kind of let down the relationship on Christmas Eve because I was so busy doing all this other Christmas junk that had to be done. And it's just kind of like, it's a beautiful song with a beautiful sentiment, and I can appreciate the sentiment very much. So I'll let Nate speak for himself with this one when it comes on.
We'll give it a listen. This is Trailer Trash with Mistletoe here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Give is mistletoe, mistletoe, mistletoe. Well, I'm flat broke and my only hope is mistletoe, mistletoe, mistletoe. It's a little green twig that says it all. It ain't for sale at the Mega Mall, but it's Christmas Eve and I'm searching high and low for mistletoe. I went to the mall to see what all I could find, 'cause after all, it's Christmas time. The parking lot was as far as I got in the ice and snow, but you ought to know I found mistletoe. I met a little old man selling Christmas trees. I said, hey mister, could you help me please? He took one look, said, here's all you need to know. Get her mistletoe. He said, hang it low so love can find a way. He said, hang it low so love can find a way. Hang it low to turn her love your way. A magic spell to turn her love your way. And I'd like to say you're a friend of mine, so here's $50 and a bottle of wine, but all I can afford to let you know is mistletoe. We're dancing now, cheek to cheek and toe to toe. We're all alone and all alone. I feel as good in the mood and I wanna show I love you so, I love you so. But we've come to the end of a long, long day. It's a crazy world anyway. As long as you're standing here, we'll let it go under mistletoe.
All right.
Nice.
I love that kind of psych out ending. That coda is so great.
I forgot all about that. That is really great. I was just the whole song thinking, God, this is a
Good
great
song.
Christmas song. Plus, it sounds really good. And whoever's playing that guitar solo, dude,
Was that you, Dan?
that
'Cause I
was
gonna.
me.
It was so good. Actually, we did write it down with notes and a circle around it. But there's something about sort of that ending and those vocals too are so great. So
Yeah,
whose idea was that to do
I
that
think
ending?
I think it was Nate. I don't remember. We did things so on the fly, but I think probably Nate came up with the magic spell thing. We always love doing the coming back into a song and jamming it out. But yeah, I can't for the life of remember what happened. Generally, with those early two records, if Nate was singing it, Nate sort of produced it. If I was singing it, I produced it. So it was
Mhm.
probably mostly Nate's ideas.
Yeah.
But
I
he
also
wrote the song, and it's such a great song.
It really is. Well, Alan said it sounds like Dark Side of the Mistletoe.
Yeah,
Maybe a
yeah.
Pink Floyd reference.
It's true. And I also like that the sleigh bells only came in on that last bit. Because that's our first appearance of sleigh bells so far on this show. So on this holiday show, which is rare because often in pop music anyway. What do they do to make it a holiday song? They just throw on the bells.
Yeah, that's a tricky thing when you make a lot of Christmas records. When do you stop?
But I loved it on that coda. I thought it just really added that kind of warmth and lift that you kind of need.
That
It's really
song's
nice.
got vibe. I mean, you can feel the night when he's talking to the old man in the parking lot. Boy, you can really feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds fantastic. And if folks are loving what they're hearing, and we know they are based on the comments in the live chat, then you'll want to pick up this album, All Lit Up. If you go to trailertrashmusic.com, you can check out this album and all the Trailer Trash records. And of course, if you go to see live shows, they still have some holiday shows in Minnesota. Dan Gaarder joining us today to talk about this 2002 release that he was a part of, All Lit Up. And if you have any comments, questions, anything like that for Dan while if you're joining us for the live show on YouTube, feel free to throw them in the chat. We'll get to as many as we can because time is going super fast.
Yeah, it is.
Just like the holiday season, a big blur, blur of sparkle and mistletoe. So this next song that you picked to feature, Dan, is Xmas in the City, which you referenced near the top of the show, kind of inspired by South Minneapolis. Is there anything else you want to say about this?
Yeah, just the Powderhorn neighborhood. I grew up on 32nd and 10th, right by the tennis courts at Powderhorn Park, which I don't think they're there anymore. But I just remember that we had a firefighter who lived across the alley from us, Art Iverson, and he had a brick house, and there was a house across the street, and they were always both lit up. And something about the look of coming down Elliott Avenue and seeing those lights, it just felt. They were big houses, the big 4-square houses, and I don't know. I can still just picture that corner in Christmas lights to this day, and it hits me. I know it's kind of an obscure reference, but something about Powderhorn just doesn't look the same as any other neighborhood at Christmas. So it's about that and how hard my parents tried to always have a good Christmas for us, and my memories of them making it great for us.
All right. This is Trailer Trash, Xmas in the City here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Bright lights, dark nights, the whole town lit up pretty, soft glow on snow. I love Christmas in the city. As I walk along the sidewalks I tread when I was young, I gaze upon the doorsteps where carols I once sung. I think about those sacred hymns that I sang with all my might, about a child born in Bethlehem one silent night. Bright lights, dark nights, the whole town lit up pretty, soft glow on snow. head down to the used car lot and pick up a big 6-footer with frozen hands. Dad'd pay the man, and on the roof we'd put her. We'd get home and we'd build a stand. Mama trim it up real nice. We'd stuff it full of presents and plug it in, and we'd turn out all the lights. Bright lights, dark nights, the whole house lit up pretty. Soft glow on snow. I love Christmas in the city. Bright lights, dark nights, the whole town lit up pretty. Soft glow on snow. I love Christmas in the city. I love Christmas in the city. I love Christmas in the city.
All right. Trailer Trash with Christmas in the City, written by Dan Gaarder, who is joining us today to chat about Trailer Trash's 2002 holiday album, All Lit Up. And Jocelyn said, that's the good, that's got the honky and the tonky. That's right. Nice. Don't want to leave out the tonky, that's for sure.
Well, that one, the solos were all cut with Rich Matson's Gretsch. He had a beautiful Gretsch, and I was going for a Chet Atkins kind of thing with the whole song, that Nashville clean production of the 50s. And his guitar worked great, except working out the harmonies for the solos took so long. I think Rich was about to tear his hair out, having me play that harmony part, like, must have been 50 times. I'm not kidding. It took forever to get that harmony worked out.
Well, I'm glad you did. It sounded great.
It finally came together, but wow, what a challenge. But thanks to Rich for letting me use his guitar, because it sounds like a dream.
Well, you brought up Chet Atkins and kind of that classic sound. And I guess one of the questions I've been thinking about while we're listening to all this is where all this country and honky tonk came into your life. It seems like it just flows through your bones. You got the voice for it. Where did you discover this music? And do you have any memories of like when the light bulb went on and you said, this is what I'm doing?
Oh boy. For me, I grew up, hearing my mom playing the country radio station all the time. That was what was on our kitchen table. That was on in the car, and it used to kind of drive me crazy. But and then Saturdays she would play like Buck Owens' Tiger by the Tail, Charlie Pride live at Panther Hall, and a couple other Roger Miller, couple other big Christmas, or not Christmas, but country western route records for the house cleaning music. Saturday afternoon was the house cleaning time. And I don't know, I think the buck got into my system. And by the time I had stopped rebelling against her musical taste, I started digging those kind of records. I started buying like old Buck Owens records, and I got really into him, and I got really into a lot of other things. So it's always been there, but I think it took me a little while to realize how much I loved it. And, I wanted to be a rock singer. I wanted to scream. I'm not built to scream. I just don't have that kind of a voice. And aside from singing Bowie, there's not a lot of baritone work in rock and roll. Country music lent itself to the way I sing. And it just ended up being that way. I worked that way for a long time. I liked playing rock and roll. I played in a lot of variety bands, but when it all shook out, country was what hung in there. And it's what felt the most natural and easiest to me. And I don't know, country music is, for the casual listener, country music is something very simple. Johnny Cash, whatever, Rebel Outlaw. Country music is a deep, deep thing. And there's a lot of variety to it. There's a lot of styles. And it sounds like it's easy to play. It's not that easy to play. It's such a feel music. You can have 10 drummers and one of them can play a country feel perfectly. It's really hard. I equate it with heavy metal because it doesn't have that backbeat, front beat. It's on the beat, like heavy metal is always on the beat. Whereas like, rockabilly, blues, things like that, they're always a little behind the beat or whatever. Country music, that's what it shares with metal, the precision. And high singers. Yeah. Bill Monroe and Dave Mustaine, same thing.
Yeah. The Back Catalog Listening Party is brought to you by EFS Publicity. Founded by veteran publicist, promoter, DJ, and musician Ellen Stanley, EFS brings an artist's perspective to the table, working to help clients get to the next level in their career. Services include national and international media campaigns, radio promotions, tour press, crowdfunding, grant writing, and more. Get a quote or set up a consultation today at efspublicity.com. Well, it's interesting you mentioned sort of the country music being so deep in your voice and in your music, which is true. But yet, as you mentioned, you've played with a lot of different styles of bands, and right now you're playing with a variety of styles of bands, from the Bad Companions, to 10
items or fewer.
Yes.
I'll put on a plug for my friend Mike Hallenbeck. I'm playing with him, and that's getting, I was so into English music in the 80s and 90s. I've never not been into English pop and synth stuff. And this is giving me a chance to delve into my world of Julian Cope and Johnny Marr and people like that I don't usually get to mess with. And so that has been really, really, really fun to explore that side of myself that I didn't have a use for. You can't really play that way in country cover bands. So now I can be creative. And watch out, Mother Banjo, because that'll be flowing into the Mother Banjo sound.
I love it. Well, and I was going to say, your guitar playing's always had a lot of those different influences. Even if you're playing in a country or roots style band, like you can hear those kind of rock influences and other influences creeping in. And I know you're also doing some work with Kathy and Abel too, right? With their projects?
We usually do. We have. I play with Kathy and Abel on some of their summer shows, but also I play with Abel in Puerto Rican parranda band, a Christmas band, and so I play cuatro Puerto Ricano. I don't pronounce very well, but I play. It's a 10-string national instrument of Puerto Rico, and for some reason they put it in my hands, and away I went. It was pretty bad at first, and I know the second year we played the Barican Festival over in St. Paul, one of the old guys came up and said, "You weren't very good last year, but you're improved a lot." So I appreciate his honesty, because I knew I was bad the year before. And they're playing this the same day, the 13th. That's this upcoming 13th at 4:00 or 3:00 at the Shoreview Community Center. And I don't think I'll be able to play because I'm playing with John Rodin at Barely Brothers Records. So I'm putting in a plug for that. And John will be doing his annual Christmas thing from 2:00 to 3:00 at Barely Brothers. And that'll be Jimmy Talsrud on drums and Cole Mickelson on bass and Evelyn Christian Ronning on background vocals. And it's just gotten to be such a fun tradition. And and it's people I just love playing with. So
yeah,
I'm thrilled about it, and a great venue to go see Christmas music. Everybody just gets excited for the Christmas show there.
Yeah, and in the live chat here, for those of you joining us for the live show on YouTube, we've shared some of the other holidays. December 13th at Barely Brothers with John Rodin, December 14th at the Cedar as part of Ben Cookfest's holiday shindig, and December 15th with the Mother Banjo Band at the 331 Club.
At 6:00, right?
Yep. And
we're on 6.
But there are so many places you can catch Dan. And one of the things I want to mention for those of you tuned in for the podcast is that he is at, for those of you who are in or will be traveling to Minnesota, he plays the first Sunday of every month at the Eagles Club with the Country Doctors. And so that's a great way to get that classic country stuff.
It is Stone Country. The other singer and I we're celebrating the end of our 41st year playing music together. I was 5, he was 6. John and I he is the longest running. He was there at the beginning pretty much of me playing in bars, and he is still there. So there's nobody I look forward to seeing on stage, because he's just always got a smile. There's just vibe all over the place. No offense, Ellen, but John is just like the easiest human being I've ever worked with in my life. I wish everybody I've worked with ever was John Griggs, because he is just he's great. I hope he's listening.
Well, the sign of a good band member, which is one of the reasons we've been playing together so long, is people that you want to hang out with as much as make music with. So, and here at the Back Catalog Listening Party, it is all about the hang and the music. So they're both in equal measure here. And we want to We're going to get to one more song before the end of today's show, but we do want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for joining us and tuning in, however you've tuned us in, whether it's on the podcast or maybe you're joining us for the live taping. But especially want to thank our Patreon supporters. These are the folks that have kept the show going for over 5.5 years. They get invited to all the live tapings. They get first look at all the guests and what's coming up on the podcast. Sometimes they get some free MP3s in their inbox. They get all kinds of good stuff. So if you want to get in on the good stuff, you can join us at patreon.com/back catalog listening party. You can join Penny, Ann, Alinda, Bevan, Connie, Vaughn, Alan, Chris, Becky, Peggy, Joe, Jim, Beverly, John, Tim, Sarah, David, Jocelyn, Matt, Steve, Mark, Severin, Lynn, Mary, Nikki, Joni, David, CJ, Christy, Diane, Hetty, Sandy, Neighbor, Ann, BZ, Paul, Cynthia, Ross, Mike, Eric, and Stephanie. And maybe you, if you want to join us, we would love to have you. This is a party that's open to everybody.
Yeah, they bring the hang every week, and we appreciate that.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
I see a bunch of people posting about the Bad Companions here, and I need to, for clarity, I will not be at their second Wednesday of the month gig because it is my youngest's 18th birthday.
Oh,
so you do not miss that.
No.
So they will have I think Amanda from Kind of Fond of Wanda and Lazy Ike joining them. So it'll be a spectacular show anyways. And probably JMO. JMO always shows up, JMO on the beat. So that'll be a great show to go to, but you won't see me there till January at the Eagles. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Excellent. Well, you'll probably, any show on a given night in the Twin Cities, you probably run into Dan playing with some band. So it's a good bet. And we are so excited that you took this opportunity to join us, Dan, for this show. Honor. This is so much fun.
Yeah. I love you both. I'm just so happy to be here.
This is the way I want to spend my my evening right tonight. This is great.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And to bring in the holiday season. So this last song that we're going to listen to is Santa's a Spy. Anything you want to say about us, or do you want to leave the?
No, I'm happy to talk about it. I just remember the thing I remember about recording this is I was trying to get that Shirley Bassey Goldfinger sound. I was trying to get that big sound, and I kept telling Rich to turn up the reverb, and he'd pretend to turn up the reverb because he thought it already had way too much reverb on it. But I think we got pretty close to a good vibe. The lyrics are so ridiculous because it's obvious, it's a song about making the comparison that possibly Santa Claus is Karl Marx. Or Santa's a communist or whatever. It was the Cold War. What can I say? That's all over now. But some of the references that I left out of the song, I'm glad I left them out because nobody would even know what I was talking about because people have forgotten so much of that history. But it's a silly, campy song. And I still like hearing it because it's just crazy. And we did that one thing that every band did in 2002, and they ran their vocals briefly through a distortion pedal so it would have that weird sound. So we do that in here because we were like any other band in 2002. We had to get on the bandwagon. So yeah, let it fly before I talk myself out of listening to it.
Well, unlike any other band in 2002, they wrote a song called Santa's a Spy. This is Trailer Trash, closing out our special holiday edition of the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Santa's been here, I can tell. The cookie crumbs, the reindeer smell. Microfilm wasn't all he took. He took my Levi's and my comic book. Up the chimney for his getaway, then he's back in the sky. Santa's a spy. Santa's a spy. He was the greatest Russian spy of all, till they tore down the Berlin Wall. Now it's industrial espionage. He wants that toy you built in your garage. He'll have 1 million of them in Taiwan before you notice it's gone. 'Cause Santa's a spy. Santa's a spy. The real Santa died back in 53, replaced by the KGB. He's bugging your house he's bugging twice. That's how he finds out who's naughty or nice.
Sometimes it feels like someone's watching me. And something moves under the Christmas tree. Moves some presents. What did I see? A tiny elf in yellow right at me.
He lives way up in Siberia. His Cossack boots cause hysteria. Makes Dr. No look like a pussy cat. He's Karl Marx in a stocking hat. Didn't you ever wonder why he wears red? Well, I'll tell you why. 'Cause Santa's a spy. Santa's a spy. Santa's a spy.
Oh my!
Wow.
Yes, yes.
Very good.
The vocals on that, Dan, are amazing, especially that ending
Yeah.
is so dramatic. And I love that this definitely has that 60s spy vibe
Yeah,
to it. It's really
100%.
great.
It
And
came
that-
out pretty good. It came out pretty good.
Oh.
I was very pleased with it. It makes me laugh even to this day. It just puts a smile on my face.
John Joe was noting he's bugging it twice, LOL. Yeah, there's some great lines in that song for sure. And folks loving it. The comments are flying in, and thanks for a fun, upbeat show. Good fun. Great show. Thank you so much. This has been so much fun.
A blast
Yeah.
for me, a real blast. This has been fun to reminisce about this record because it was a really fun record to make, and going back and listening to it now is just like, first I wonder who's that child singing, because I sound so much younger on this recording. My voice has gotten deeper, but it's been really fun to hear this again and go through it with you and reminisce. So thank
Yeah.
you, Ellen and Tony. I believe appreciate it.
Oh,
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, bringing the holiday cheer.
so
Just
good.
like holiday records are recorded in July, we're recording this a little before the holidays
But there
really
is
get
snow on
kicked
the
off.
ground. I
But
just
there
want
is
to
snow
point
on the
out.
ground. But I've got to tell you, man, I'm starting to feel it for sure now.
Good.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, and for those of you who are just listening to the podcast and not having the pleasure of seeing Dan's amazing hat, and he's wearing red, by the way. I just want to point out, Dan is a spy. No.
Well, this is one of our old uniform shirts from the shows, but the hat, Nate had a
It's
red one, I had a
great.
white one, but I had a white ermine band that I don't know what happened to it. So I was kind of sad I couldn't find that before tonight.
Oh, but this green one is pretty special. So
It's pretty great. It's been through hell.
yeah, it's so great. Well, this has been so much fun. If you want to thank everyone for tuning into the show, no matter how you have done so, if you're listening to the podcast or whether you're tuned in for the live show on YouTube, thank you for being here. And if you liked the episode as much as we can tell you all did from the live chat, which is on fire, you can like it on whatever platform you're listening. You can review it. You can subscribe to the Back Catalog Listening Party podcast and our YouTube channel, so that you can be notified when our next episode drops, because we do this every Friday. We drop new episodes of conversations with our favorite artists like Dan Gaarder. So thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
I guess it's that time. Have a wonderful holiday season, everybody. And keep listening to music. Get out there and hear live music. I hear some activity in the chat about going out to the Parkway Theater. So yeah, get out there to hear some live music. There's plenty of it to be had. And we'll see you soon here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us on the Back Catalog Listening Party. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review, which helps more people discover our show and our guests.
And do you want to be a part of the live show, get a first look at upcoming guests, and receive invites to private online parties and live streams? Then join our Patreon community at backcataloglisteningparty.com.
Have a great week. We'll see you back here next Friday for another edition of the Back Catalog Listening Party.